Yeah. Go ahead. But he double scuttled, and he met me on bot side.
Alright, so watch. You're on blue side, red side. I always forget
Yeah,
what's.
blue side.
Yeah, you're blue at top, right?
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, the most likely thing for him to do, I would assume, is this, I see them, unless I see that he got a leash top, obviously.
Yep. That's what
Um,
I thought.
and then I'm playing Kayn. I do not want to fight this fucker, so I'm gonna go away from this man.
I started
Um,
blue side. Yeah, I
yeah,
started blue
no,
buff.
no, I'm gonna do the whole drill for you, so you can see what I would think. And
Okay.
then, um, I think top is like dependent on Sion, but I think generally Urgot will push.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what I thought too.
is it Nunu mid?
Yeah, it's Nunu mid.
All right, so I don't know anything about Nunu mid, but I imagine he doesn't push. Uh,
I thought the Galio would push because he was running Aftershock, and then Nunu was running Dark Harvest.
and then
Um,
bottom actually would expect Yasuo pushes most lanes, but that's very dependent on Yasuo. So if I was the one playing this game, I would ask Yasuo, does he intend on spamming E or not?
yeah, I just assumed that the other side would push.
Yeah, because
I
it's range against melee, right?
yeah.
But that's actually like I just know from experience with Yasuo. Like Yasuo pushes most lanes. If he takes E, he normally pushes because he's very threatening, and so people get the hell away from him.
Right.
And so, like I said, the easy way of answering this is saying, Yasuo, do you plan on spamming E or not?
Okay. I'll ask that
But
if
this would
I
be
hear
my
that.
prediction until I ask this question. And
Yeah.
so, in this case, I don't think he has any like initial places to go gank. You're gonna see. Like, so it's likely he'll go here, and then he doesn't want to do these camps. And if he doesn't have a gank, it's actually likely he'll go here. It just makes sense.
Yeah, that's what I figured. That was like this is everything I predicted, and then I forgot the part I forgot was to account for the double scuttle.
Okay.
I didn't
Now,
think he'd beat me bot.
I don't think I can counter gank because I don't think he's ganking. I don't think I can kill the Warwick, and so my next thing is, can I have a successful gank? Um,
Yeah.
I don't think I would kill top. Um,
I thought about ganking
unless he
mid
gets low. If he gets low
because
enough, I can kick him. But
I figured I would gank mid after I got the scuttle.
okay, and so if I look at mid, I'll be level 3 to the level 2 Galio. Um, and we have ignite.
Well, it was gonna be level 4 to level 3 actually.
I
'Cause
would never be level 3 on my gank. I'd be level. I mean, I would never be 4. I would be 3. Or it's taking too long.
Okay.
You almost if you're ganking level 3.
Okay. So should I just done like a 3 camp clear
Well,
or,
yeah, like I said, let me just get there. So
yeah.
I don't think these will work, and I think if I go middle, not immediately, I'm gonna get counter against my Warwick, and we don't win 2v2.
Yeah.
Now do I think my midnight gank works? I don't know how Nunu can Nunu start his snowball like and hit the opponent like immediately, or does he have to?
Yeah, he can. It's a very short stun if he does it like that, but I figured it would be good. We could like get him with the E, like a
If he's
W
pushed
into
up
an E.
upon at the time I hit level 3, I would go for the gank because I think it would work so long as Nunu flashes. And so
Yeah.
I'd ask for Nunu to flash, and then I can go
Okay.
for the mid gank. But I'd also do the gank. And so here you're gonna see. So I'm gonna do this gank by doing this path. And the reason why I'm doing this is so that I'm pathing away from where I believe Warwick is. Right? So I want the gank to end up over here because naturally if I gank from the top, he's gonna run downwards, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
I want to gank away from. I want to clear away from this Warwick. Also, because he knows I'm bottom. If I left these camps, so let's say I did like red, what like if I did it this way, I guess that's not really that bad. So I guess we really wanted this year's the time. Like I need to get in this gank before Warwick's gonna get here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do like the fastest path, and also like let's say I just did um like 1, 2, 3 middle or something.
Yeah.
The issue is that my camps are gonna be up, and he can just take my camps, right? So I'm gonna do it in this way so that even though he knows I'm on the bottom side, he can't actually invade and take anything, and he might waste some time trying to check if anything's over here. And so I get to do this and go across, and if this works, obviously I get priority, and then I can probably get the bottom crab.
Yeah.
Um, and then on my way over on this gank, I could like ward, and so that after he does this crab, I get vision on like which way does he end up going. That makes sense, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So basically, I figured out my prediction. Hey, thanks for subscribing. Um, I or resubscribing. Figured out my prediction, and then I know I don't want to fight. I know I don't want to fight the Warwick, and I know I want to gank middle, but I know I don't want Warwick to have the opportunity of counter ganking, and so I'm doing the fastest route that ganks away from where I believe he will be.
Okay.
That's how I figured out that answer, right?
Yeah. No, that makes sense. So I should have just done the 3 top camps into a mid gank. Okay.
If the mid gank was your objective, yes.
Yeah, the mid gank was my objective. I thought we had enough CC with the new to make it work. So I was worried he might invade, so I placed a defensive ward here.
There you go.
Got my Oracle lens.
This
then
ward
nothing
is
really
so
happened.
much worse than the ward I talked about. Like this ward is so useful. This ward is not so useful. This one tells me exactly where he goes. Tells me whether he's going to run through middle and maybe try to gank my guy because he doesn't have priority now, or whether he went back into his own jungle, which tells me how much time I have over here. This ward does so much. This does so little. And also, you could just ask someone else on your team to do this ward
Okay.
if you're really that worried about it, which I don't think you should have been.
I mean, it just happened like a game or two ago where I got invaded by a Warwick. So.
Yeah, but if your team, if you started bottom and you got leashed, it wouldn't be like this shit, right?
Mm.
Also, if you plan on, again, if you ended up, I bet you in that last game you could have surmised that he must have started bottom based on leashes and everything.
Yeah.
Like, if he starts bottom, you almost certainly will be able to tell. You guys kept switching aggro. That's why that happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't
yeah.
switch champions over and over again. That really sucks because the big part about this is the speed of getting there fast enough.
I know. I got rolled. I kind of fucked the. Yeah.
Ooh, are you doing some jungle tracking drills?
Yeah.
All right.
I messed up the first. I thought he was top side. Yeah.
No, you're right so far.
Okay.
But you should do that for every action. Oh, there you go. All right, so not cool. So he shows up bottom, and this makes me want to. I was paying attention to you, so did we know this by leashes? So Lucian and Nami show up in bot lane immediately. So we actually already did know this. So you should have actually already known, right?
He's starting top.
Yeah, you started top. In which case you do this drill again. So boom.
Yeah.
However, the main thing is that you get to do the drill again, but it's already like somewhat completed for you, right? Because these things are still probably the same. And so you just know that he started here now, which means it becomes likely he does the opposite of what we talked about before, which means it becomes very likely he gains bottom.
Yeah.
And so, our objective: can we counter gank middle or bottom? I mean,
No.
you don't think you win? That's fine. I'm just asking.
No, I don't think we win.
Okay. In which case, our objective is still to gank middle, right?
Yeah.
Now the difference is that we can kind of do a different path to achieve that, right? Because now if we did the path that I talked about, we're ganking towards the Warwick, and then after we're done with that, we're clearing on the same side as Warwick, which is dumb.
Yeah.
Whereas, do you know what the correct path is going to be here? What's your guess? You have to start blue because you already started blue. So what do you have to do? What do you do?
Yeah. I should probably go look I could look for an invade. I mean, I can still
How would that end up being a gank?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. No, for a gank. I wish I could use the map right now. I would just say do the 3 top camps, and then I can do my bot side camps, and then gank upwards away from the Warwick.
That would take forever. We're talking about almost 7 actions here, and our predictions are for 4 actions. So you're just going way too far ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would have just cleared like Raps red into gank, but I
I'm
don't
asking
know.
you, what do you think is better? Our
I
objective is
mean,
to gank,
probably
but listen,
top side.
no, listen. Our objective is to gank middle. Our
Yeah.
objective is to not run into Warwick. How do we achieve those two things?
I'd say just go gank middle now, and then
Well, if you think it works, sure, but I don't think I win level 2. I don't think we have enough damage.
I mean, take the wolves and then gank middle, and then clear Warwick's top side.
So even in that scenario, though, you're ganking from like this side, and so you're gonna end up on this side, and then you have to run all the way back. That seems weird. That should be a good enough hint as to what the correct answer is. I don't want to gank in the opposite direction of where I'm trying to go.
So just go to my bot side and gank from there,
Yep.
but without clearing camps.
No, I'm clearing cams. I'm not sure why
Okay.
you're skipping that.
So I'm saying clear wraps red into gank.
That one, you went in at level 3 doing that.
I thought I already did the blue Gromp.
No,
then...
you didn't have to do the Gromp. You knew that he was top before you started the Gromp.
Oh, okay.
Like, you already know right now.
Yeah.
So you did blue, and we have to do something before we get middle.
So we could just do Gromp red into gank.
Yes. So this would be an acceptable answer. I'd be okay if you did this in game.
Yeah.
It's just not the best answer. But this is pretty clean, right?
Yeah.
You're doing all the things. Do you know what the issue with this one? We've done enough of these lessons where I'm gonna go a little bit more advanced on you, okay?
Yeah, let's go.
So, how do you think we improve? There's a better way of improving this. So, it's the same way you do the first part, right? So we're doing 1, 2, 3, 4. He's doing 1, 2, 3, 4. We're doing 5, and we showed ourselves, and he knows we're going upwards. What's his 5 gonna be? So we're just gonna think 4 more actions ahead. Because he knows we're here. We know he's here. We both got done ganking, and he saw us run towards the top side. What do you think?
He's gonna clear my bot side.
Yeah, so he could do your bot side. What's the other option?
This is after he's ganked bot, right?
Yeah, we're talking about the 5th action now.
I mean scuttle.
Yeah, scuttle or bot side, right? And in the case where you guys both do a gank, you guys both take cover jungle, and then it goes even, right?
Yeah.
But we don't want to go
really
even.
good.
We want to beat him.
Okay.
I mean, going even in a losing matchup is fine, yes.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if we can see the future, we should be able to do better than go even.
Okay.
How do we beat him? If we can see the future, how should we beat him?
So
I'll try to fix it for you. Watch. This is gonna happen. This is gonna happen. This is gonna happen. Actually, we would really advance. This doesn't necessarily have to happen, but I'll keep it like this. We already know all this is gonna happen, and we know this is gonna be his 2 options. So how do we beat this? If we can see all this, there's something we have to change.
After the gank.
No, not after the
my
gank.
gank mid.
Before the gank.
Before the gank.
Yeah.
We could clear our bot side, so he has nothing to take.
Yes. Yes, we could.
Yeah. So I could just do like blue into full bot side clear into gank, and then take his top side into top gank.
We're running into a time issue with that path though, because going from our red to our Raptors our blue to our Raptors to our red to our Krugs, and then walking back the middle is like a lot of actions.
Yeah.
By then we can get counter games on our mid gank, right?
Right.
So we're running out. That's too much time. We have to cut our losses and do a little bit less than doing our entire bottom side.
So just blue Gromp Raptors red into gank into.
There's the faster way. Also, we want these 2 camps to be it'd be nice to have these 2 camps for after we do the invade, so we have something to do on our top side as well. I'm not sure. The correct answer requires you to understand something. I'm not sure if you understand. Can you think of something else?
Um,
It's like a little trick when it comes to jungles, Clary.
uh, I can.
What's a different way of hitting level 3? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, I don't. I don't know. I guess I could take his top side earlier and then go for the gank.
Because then we're ganking from the top.
Right.
Alright, so the answer is blue, small wolves, raptors, red. So you don't actually kill the entire wolf camp, you just kill the small wolves and leave. That way you hit level 3 when you kill the red.
Okay. Did not know that.
Yeah,
Alright.
this is like the fastest way of hitting level 3 in this route. Because Gromp's going to take a lot longer than the small wolves and the raptors.
Gotcha. So blue, small wolves.
Also, you're going to
raptors,
lose a lot
red.
more health killing the Gromp than you would doing the raptors with
Right. So I'm
Hunter's health.
healthier for the gank.
Yeah. So I guess again I'm going more advanced, but what we're doing here, this is called subsequential. Um, Actually, this is still the first part, but you're thinking about the consequence of when you show yourself. What could your opponent do, right?
Yeah.
This is something that we weren't accounting for before, but we're going to start accounting for it now. It's like once you show yourself middle, what is your opponent going to do now? And we said, well, now he might be able to invade us, and so while we're going even, that's not exactly what we want. Like technically, we're still actually out efficiency because we're a better champion at doing these AOE camps than he is. So we are winning, but it's not as winning as we could be, right?
Yeah.
And we could be more winning by taking one of the camps that he's going to be looking for, right? And so we get this, we get to go towards top side, which might be an immediate gank if you actually think you can kill him, or you just do his top side. In which case, he does one of these two things, and then maybe wastes his time to check whether this is there, and maybe walks back over here, or run through mid. But we're gonna have priority after our gank, so you might not walk through middle unless you try to go for a gank, in which case you should ward for it. And again, another great time to use your ward here would be on your way over, pop this over so that you can see what Warwick does. This is why I flame all you guys that waste your ward early game, because there's almost always a better time to use it.
So just hold on to the ward.
Yeah, there's almost always a better time if you're doing correct pathing. This ward, just like the last one, is so effective. If we get to know, did he do scuttle first? Did he come from our side of the jungle? Did he do the scuttle and then run towards our raptors? Is he waiting in this bush to kill our mid laner? This ward does a shit ton. Right? And then based on that information, or lack of information, which is still information, we can make our decision to maybe we should just grab this scuttle while we can, or maybe we have time to do the Krugs, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe we can 3-man roams top and get a kill. Like, this path is a great example of, even though you're the hunted on Kayn, you look at what you're capable of doing.
Yeah.
You can still smack him. It just requires you to go a little bit deeper, you know?
Yeah. That's really hard.
Yeah. But eventually you'll get this pattern recognition. You'll start knowing that you have the option of doing the small wolves. You'll start knowing that you should pretty much always gank away from the direction of the enemy jungler if you're the hunted.
Yeah.
Again, I got used to this because I learned this concept by playing Wukong. And if I ganked in the wrong direction, I'd die because Wukong sucked early game. So
yeah, that happened to me the other day. I ganked in the wrong direction and got owned by a Jax.
Yeah, exactly.
It was like, it's crazy.
So it's a lot about not just like the first part that we did here is us making prediction on all the lanes and then making our decision. But then the next part is how do our decisions affect our opponent's decisions? Like, oh, if we gank from this direction, they're naturally going to run in that direction. If we show here and we start running upwards, they're naturally going to be more inclined to take our bottom side. It's just you just have to think about the cause and effect, you know?
Yeah.
And it might seem difficult now, but again, just like everything else, it's pattern recognition. Like once you do it enough, it's not even like a thought process. I can figure out a path like this in like probably 5 seconds, but without ever seeing the game before. Like it's just pattern recognition. I'm like, oh, I'm a weaker jungle. I'm gonna, like I said, that's why I said it in that first way. Oh, I'm the weak jungle. I don't want to walk in the Warwick, and I want to get middle. I would already have this in my mind. I'd already have this in the mind because that's the natural way of achieving that is to gank away from him from the opposite side. That's just pattern recognition. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm used to those three variables, and I already have the answers ready for him.
Okay. I mean, I guess it's moot now since I'm not going to be playing Kayn, but
It's
good
still the
to
same
know what
concept.
else
Yeah,
I,
it's a good concept.
you know.
And the concept of understanding the effect of you showing yourself is on your opponents is not even just a jungle concept. It's just a concept in general, macro
Yeah.
concept. Yeah. No pings from you. This war was on the map that entire time, and no danger pings. No top lane has teleport pings. If you watch my play, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm pinging danger, danger, danger. I'm pinging sound teleport. Cause those are the two ways I could affect that bottom lane, right? There's only two ways. I can have the person that has teleport go maybe use his teleport to save them, or I could maybe my pings will save them.
Okay.
Again, have some. There's no reason to not have influence there, especially because you were just running in the jungle at that point. You weren't even doing anything. This guy was good. He would have invaded you at Nami, and you would have got fucked arenaed. Okay. You're hard trolling.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Because I mean, you don't have tempo, and you don't win the matchup, and you don't have priority.
Yeah,
You
I
have
honestly,
nothing here.
I didn't even see work on the map when he invaded bottom. Like, I didn't even see it happen. That's what happened. Like,
Oh, okay.
it was a lack of map awareness.
That's why I was saying you were doing the tracking drill, but you were tracking whenever you were paying attention. You need to track out there everything you do. After you did this, you should have pinged. After you did this, you should have pinged. Because if you do that every time, it's impossible not to notice the map because you're always looking at the map.
Yeah.
You do this, then you ping the map, and then you do this, and then you ping the map, and then you would have been like, oh shit, he's bottom, danger, danger, danger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It has to be something you're constantly doing if you want to improve. But again, just like everything else, like all these things are eventually become like second nature. Like I don't have to think about this stuff; I just kind of do it. You know?
Right. Yeah, I think it all could have been avoided if I just actually seen the map when he was
Of course.
bot, but I missed it.
There also is a way that you could have survived this. Besides just noticing he was there and turning around earlier.
Yeah.
Like, what are you even watching? What were we looking at? You saw him. You just kept walking forward, and then you queued through him. You know you don't win the matchup, and you queued at him. So definitely some. What I imagine is you literally had because you weren't ready for him to be here at all. Like your reaction to him being here was just horrible because you weren't ready at all. Right.
Yeah.
But that's why
Yeah.
we play, and everything I coach you guys on is assume the worst. Assume he's there. That way you never get caught off guard. You know. You never flash here because it literally never works. You flash and then he flashes, right? It's Warwick.
I should have just died.
I actually again, I still think you can. I still think you could have done some fancy stuff. You could have walked in this direction, did the big flash, which at least requires him to flash correctly. In which case, you maybe can get to the point where you can execute. The better thing would have been to notice that he was here, and then keep using your E to go over this wall, then Q over this wall, and then if you flash, then you can flash again, and then you're safe. If you didn't notice as early, you like let's say you're here and your E went away, you'd go here, Q over here, then flash over here. There was definitely some options here, but I understand why you wouldn't be able to do them if you were caught off guard. It's real hard to make the right decision whenever you're shitting a brick. This guy failed his flash. You see that? Did you notice? Okay. Keep pressing that. Watch out. Watch out. And he fell. I'm like, I think that's a pretty good example for what you were asking about for this game, though.
Yeah.
Hmm. Do you want to spend the lesson going over the more advanced jungle pathing now, or do you want to talk about
We.
or you want to talk about the split brush archetype with Master Yi?
I think I want to talk about Master Yi, like what I should be thinking about with him.
Okay, cool. What's good for you is that I actually went over Nocturne macro in my YouTube video that's being published in like 1 hour, so you can actually go watch that
Oh,
after this.
nice.
Because
That'd be
I
really
coached
helpful.
another
Yeah.
Nocturne player like yesterday or 2 days ago or something. Okay, so we're gonna go over the split push archetype. It would be easier if we had a VOD, but we don't need a VOD. Here, we'll do it without a VOD. If I need one, I can just Google like who's selling that split pushes. Man, my initial thought was like row hammers, but I'm thinking about like season 4 Tryndamere row hammers. This is such like an old thing to think about. Hashinshin is this big split pusher, so we can watch a VOD of that if we need to.
Okay.
Alright. So alright, split push. The general idea is that we go in a side lane, we push, and ideally we win the matchup so that we actually have pressure, right?
Yeah.
And then we apply pressure, and if we can't dive our opponent, okay, I think we both understand that this is the general idea, right? People group here, we split over here, or bottom, or wherever, right? That's the general idea. Now let's go a little bit more advanced. In the situation where someone's defending and you don't have the ability to get the tower or kill him, what do you do in that situation?
Sorry, hold on a second. My audio's cutting out. Okay. Sorry. One more time.
If you are split pushing and they have someone that you can push but you can't tower dive, what's your objective? So you push them into the tower. What do you do?
The wave and then go roam.
Okay, so what are some of our roam options?
If you're in top lane, you can roam into the enemy jungle, clear their camps. You can roam mid. You can roam for Herald.
Okay.
And I mean, those are the 3 biggest options I can think of. Yeah. TP, then you can go TP bot and like 3-man dive.
Well, we're talking about mid game, so there'll probably be 5 people, or the other people would be middle.
Right. Yeah, those are the 3 options I would think of, but I can't think of anything else.
Okay. That's like a good like basic answers. We might come back to these and talk about more advanced answers later.
Yeah.
So you can use your priority and try to get something done, right? Actually, we talk about a little bit more advanced. We did tempo lesson, right?
But we haven't ever really got to like watching a mid game or whatever, and actually like breaking down tempo within a game.
Okay, so in tempo, I always try to make sure you understand that just because you're going to a location doesn't mean you're actually doing something specific, right? And so we could invade for cams, but we could also just invade for vision and establish vision to make it safer for us to do our job. That's going to be a big one for split pushing. We could also maybe use our additional archetype, because as you get ahead on Yi, you're eventually going to become a dive burst champion and eventually an assassin, right? And so in the beginning of the game, your objective is going to be a lot about establishing vision to enable your split push. But as the game goes on, your objective is going to start becoming denying vision so you can kill someone. So you'll start wanting to like have a sweeper or use pink wards to make sure that they don't see you, and then you wait for someone to kill them. So you start getting that burst / assassin archetype, right?
Yeah.
So those are all different kind of invade plays. It's not just about taking a camp, right?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing for going middle. Your middle thing doesn't always have to be a gank. It doesn't always have to be like trying to team fight. It could just be I'm gonna go with my team, get priority with my team, and then once they're pushed back, um, I might reset with my team, or I might now transition to split pushing on the bottom side because I know that this guy's top or maybe on the way middle because I showed middle, right?
Yeah.
Or this is
At
also
what point?
great. Oh, good.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what point in the game should I start split pushing?
Mm, the moment you can do your job. It's like if let's say you
So,
don't think you actually can. Uh,
item spike?
let's say you don't think you can push the enemy laner until you complete a certain item. Then you kind of have to wait for. If you can't push to do this priority thing, then you're not really at that point yet, right?
Yeah.
That's gonna be more like game by game examples though. So we're gonna need to play some Yi games.
Yeah.
um, what I want to talk about with this is that just like in the last listen I just did, and we talked about like when you show yourself. Actually, I guess we just talked about it too. When you show yourself, that's a big deal, right? And people are gonna react, right?
Yeah.
And if you go middle here, this top laner is gonna be more likely to react and start going bottom, right? Or sorry, start going middle. And then what you could do is literally just do the same thing so that you get here before him. And so while he's on the way here, you just end up going on your way back, and you try to make him run back and forth. And that the reason why that's really good is that eventually you can transition this into instead of you going alone, you go middle, you push up, you go with 3 people, and you guys just wait here for him to walk back. Or you go with 2 people, or however many people you need, right?
Yeah.
Or you might not need anyone. You might be able to kill him just not under the tower. And that way you try to catch him here, especially on like champions that can jump over walls. Like we're not going to be doing that with Yi, but forcing your opponent into actually making movements and decisions leaves them open to making mistakes, right?
Yeah.
So the mid roam, sometimes you have no intention of actually doing anything mid. You're just trying to bait your opponent into making a mistake.
By going back and forth.
Yeah, and so that eventually you can catch him. And then same thing like with Rift Herald, same concept as invading. Like you don't necessarily have to do the Rift Herald. You can just set up vision. You can deny vision. You can wait for someone to try to kill them. That's why you have to pick which archetype is going to be best, right?
Right.
So essentially, like, if you can't do your split push archetype, then you start using another archetype. That's basically the other way of saying this, right? Like, oh, we can't use our split push, then we might go use our burst, or we might go do a macro play where we try to bait out a wrong macro decision out of our opponent, and then we try to use our burst here. Or we might use a macro play to try to bait our opponent to roam, and then we allow our Blitzcrank to go for a pick here. So you're either enabling your other archetypes, or enabling your teammates' archetypes.
By split pushing.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
A lot of split pushing is vision control, and that's clear because I already told you. At first, you're going to want to be establishing vision so you're safe, and then eventually you're going to be wanting to deny vision so you can kill people as you get stronger, right?
Yeah.
Now, sometimes you're going to push and you're not going to have enough information to go do a roam because it would be too dangerous, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's because you have lack of information, which probably means you don't have vision established. And in those cases, you can either work with someone to get vision established. So, like, let's say your support it doesn't feel safe enough to go get vision for you. You could go get priority in your lane and ask the support to come with you, so that you guys go get vision, and then you can start doing your job, right?
Yeah.
So working with your support to enable again, the support is putting vision down to enable you to do your job, right?
Right.
Another thing would be, let's say that can't happen, or like they might not be middle, they might be bottom, right? And those scenarios, a lot of the time, and I think Shinshin does this pretty well, is you just have to wait, man. Like sometimes you push, you don't have enough information to make a good decision. You don't have enough options. You don't have teleport. Your support's not here. You don't have enough things to do. or everything's just like too much of a gamble. And what you do is go sit right in this. You just sit in the bush. You just wait for information. You have to be patient a lot of times with split pushing, so you don't kill yourself. You just have to sit, wait, get information, and then once you know, then you go, right?
Right. So what kind of information are you typically waiting for?
Where the hell is everybody?
Okay.
Like, anyone that's a threat to me, they need to be on the map. I need to know they're not here, because I don't want to die. 'Cause then I'm not doing my job, right?
Right.
Okay. Alright, so I think everything else is so niche, unless you have any questions.
I guess I don't know, what kind of mindset should I have for Yi in the early game? I'm not really sure how strong he is in the beginning. I mean, I know I could probably kill like the fiddlesticks.
He's stronger than you think, probably, but he's still not insane.
I know he's not like a
I,
Warwick, so I'm just kind of like I don't know what kind of clears I should be in ganks I should be going for.
so I will say level 3 gank's going to be less likely on Yi. Um, I'm still going for them if I think it's going to work. You're naturally going to be wanting to avoid people as well. You definitely want to make sure you have his clear down so that you stay healthy in the jungle and you can go for these ganks. You're not afraid of doing AoE cancel on Yi. They're typically fine. The literal number one initial thing you need to make sure you can do on the Yi is the dodge abilities with your Q and not just use Q.
Okay.
The difference between a Yi that uses Q to dodge as opposed to just spamming it is insanely high. You have to be patient with that Q.
Gotcha.
The patience on his Q and the timing on his Q is that champion's not even like remotely good without his ability to dodge shit with his Q. So that's the number one initial thing you have to get good with. I definitely watched some like Master Yi highlights to see how they try to give themselves the highest probability of like dodging multiple things. I'm sure it's like that's what Shaco Alt can do. I'm sure you've seen the highlights of people doing cool shit where they dodge abilities with invulnerability. And
I haven't really checked out many of those, but
no,
yeah.
like
No.
if you watch like Shaco's montages and Yi montages, it's gonna be a lot of dodging like modified ultimates by going invulnerable.
Gotcha.
Or let's say like for in this example, you would dodge, you would time it to dodge Galio ulting on this one and not so he doesn't knock you up. You dodge Galio's taunt, dodge Nami bubble or wave. You can even dodge Lucian's Q, so when he presses his Q, you can Q, and that little light thing would miss. Warwick all, Urgot all, like all those things are things you could dodge that would significantly make you better.
Okay.
Because you're not only are you denying them an ability, you're also still gaining an ability yourself. You're not like some champions have to trade an ability for your opponent's ability. You're not trading for anything. You're still doing the damage and you're dodging their ability.
Right.
So that's why it's such a powerful ability. And that's also
so
why his
dodging-
other abilities aren't as good because that one's so good that they can't make his other abilities good, or else he'd be
Right.
broken.
So will I often be like full clearing on Yi because he's
Almost
generally
literally
good?
never.
Almost literally never.
I generally never want anyone to full clear for any reason. Cause
Okay.
I mean, again, like if you watch, it's a drill, right? If you can't counter gank, if you can't kill the enemy jungler, and you can't gank, then it becomes jungle efficiency, which isn't necessarily full clearing. Because full clearing is kind of the notion that you're gonna just do your jungle and just clear your jungle. Whereas even something like we just talked about, our objective is like we're doing a lot of camps, but we're not full clearing, right? But this is not us on Kayn just doing our jungle and doing nothing,
Yeah.
right? We could end up doing literally the same path on Master Yi in that game, to be honest. So long as you think the game will work. And I don't think Kayn's significantly better than Master Yi early game ganking. So you could have done this exact same path. It's probably the right path to do on Master Yi as well. And it's going to be very rare that clearing your jungle, just your 6th camp, is the best option. Because naturally, what happens Well, naturally, if you just think about it, if they just do the same thing that you did, like yeah, you're probably scaling them harder, but that's not gonna be relevant for like 20 minutes. And so you're like kind of going even with your opponent, which isn't good, right? We can always beat them.
Yeah.
Like I said, just like this was a good. The last game with Kayn was a good example. It, yeah, you can go even, or you can go like slightly ahead because you're more efficient. But there's probably a better thing where you just beat them. It's pretty rare that there's not an option where you just beat your opponent if they do your prediction.